You ever have one of those days? You know the one. You didn't run a marathon, you barely even left the house, but by the end of it, you feel completely just wiped out. It's such a frustrating feeling, right? But it's not just you. Today, we're going to unpack the science behind this weird kind of mental drain. This is the question, isn't it? It's the one that bounces around in your head. You wake up, maybe you scroll in your phone a bit, you think, you worry, you put off a few tasks, and then, by evening, even the smallest chore feels like climbing a mountain. It's this deep fatigue that feels totally disconnected from any actual physical work. And then this voice kicks in, the one that tells you, you didn't earn this, you're just being lazy. We start to feel guilty about being tired. We label it a lack of willpower. But here's the thing, that misunderstanding is exactly what makes the exhaustion worse, because you end up fighting yourself instead of understanding what's really going on. So to really get to the bottom of this, we have to start by getting one thing straight. Not all tiredness is created equal. And that right there is where the paradox begins. Look, we all get physical fatigue. You go for a run, your muscles ache, you get a good night's sleep, and you feel better. It's simple, cause and effect. But psychological exhaustion, it plays by a totally different set of rules. This isn't about sore muscles. It's about a strained mind. It feels like brain fog, like your motivation has just packed up and left. And the solution, well, it's not as simple as just getting more sleep. And this is the real key, right here. You're not out of energy, you're out of capacity. Think of it like a computer with way, way too many tabs open. The battery might be at 100%, but the processor is so maxed out that everything just slows to a crawl. That is your brain when it's psychologically exhausted. Which brings us to the big aha moment. Let's pull back the curtain on the absolutely incredible amount of hidden work your brain is doing 24/7, even when you think you're just sitting there doing absolutely nothing. Get this, your brain, just by existing, burns a whopping 20% of your body's total daily calories. And that's when it's at rest. That's before you've even started to actively worry or plan your day. It's an incredibly energy-hungry organ, just constantly humming in the background. So where does all that energy go? Well, it goes to this invisible to-do list that's always running in the background. Every single time you mentally replay that awkward conversation from yesterday, or you bottle up frustration, or you just try to decide what to watch next, you are burning real metabolic fuel. This is what psychologists call cognitive load. There's even a specific brain network behind this whole thing. It's called the default mode network. Think of it like your brain's screensaver. It kicks in whenever you're not focused on something specific. But instead of, flying toasters, it's busy replaying old memories and spinning up worries about the future. It's basically a screensaver that's constantly draining your battery. Okay, so our brains are naturally busy. We get that. But why does it feel so much worse these days? Well, it turns out our modern world is practically an obstacle course that's perfectly designed to push our minds right to the breaking point. To really understand the problem, you have to look at our brain's original design. It's kind of like we're running this ancient software on brand new super fast hardware. Our brain's operating system, it evolved for a very, very different world. A world of clear, immediate threats, like a predator you either escape from or you don't. A world with a pretty limited number of decisions to make. And really importantly, a world with natural signals of completion. The hunt is over, the shelter is built, the work is done. This is what our brains are actually optimized for. But that is so not the world we live in anymore. Now we face this constant fire hose of information and notifications and low-grade stressors that our ancient operating system just wasn't built to handle. So instead of clear threats, we have this endless low-grade stress from notifications and the 24/7 news cycle. Instead of a few choices, we have infinite choices, which leads to decision fatigue. There's no mental off switch, and there's almost no sense of psychological closure. I mean, did you answer all your emails? That inbox is never, ever truly empty. So what on earth can we do about it? If just resting doesn't seem to work, what does? This last section is all about real, actionable strategies for true mental recovery. Okay, this is where we need to draw a really critical distinction: the difference between passive rest and active recovery. Scrolling your phone or binging a show feels like rest, but a lot of the time it just keeps your brain spinning in those same old tired loops. True active recovery, things like taking a walk outside or just being mindful for a few minutes, that's what actually helps clear out the cognitive load and truly recharges your capacity. Here is a super powerful, really simple technique you can use right away. It's called the cognitive offload. Step 1, get all of those swirling thoughts and worries out of your head and onto a piece of paper. Just dump them all out. Step 2, for each item, just decide on the very next simple action step. Not the whole project, just the next step. And third, and this is key, you have to trust the paper. Give your brain permission to let it all go. You've officially outsourced the worrying. And here are a few more tools to add to your toolkit. Prioritizing quality sleep is absolutely non-negotiable for brain repair. Moving your body helps regulate your brain chemistry in a huge way. And creating real, tech-free zones gives your attention a chance to actually recover. Seriously, these aren't luxuries. They are essential maintenance for your mind. So when you really think about it, your mental energy is a lot like money in the bank. It's a finite, precious resource. The goal isn't just to have more of it, but to be a lot smarter about how you invest it. That drained feeling isn't a sign that you're lazy or failing, it's a signal. It's a signal that it's time to manage your mental portfolio a little differently. So the real question is, how will you invest yours?